So if you win the matchup of the week, you're able to choose the song. So that one's coming to us from a little ZZ Top on your Thanksgiving morning for DJ Dennis. Want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving this week. Hope you have a great day with friends, family. And welcome to Week 13 of the NFL action. Again, my name is Drew Greeno, coming to you live here on this Thanksgiving morning. Want to bring everybody up to speed on what's been happening in the league. As of last week, in Week 12, it was a huge win for Cam to stay on top of the league at 9-3. Followed closely behind Dennis and Bud, who come in with identical 8-4 records. They are on the inside track to clinching a playoff spot. If they're able to get a victory this week, that should go a long way in cementing that status. But we're really looking at that fourth position right now, currently occupied by Sean at 7-5. Ryan is on the outside looking in at the moment based on his points, but he does also have a 7-5 record. So it's really going to be a dogfight to see who's going to clinch these last four spots, with really five guys that are still alive and well in the playoff structure. Another good week for me in the predictions last week, going 4-1. That brings my total on the season to 39-26. So it's been a steady improvement from some early season troubles. But what we're going to do this week is we're going to try to get through these non-playoff matchups, and then we'll highlight some of the more important, pertinent information that you need to know on this Thanksgiving morning. So we're going to start quickly by going with Bill versus Adam. Bill had a crushing loss last week to Dave, basically eliminated his postseason chances. While Adam is still in a dogfight of his own, he's trying to avoid getting that pink shirt for the second time in 4 years. So he still has a lot to play for as we get into the last 2 weeks of the regular season. If you want to look at Bill's team last week, Calvin Johnson, Robert Gronkowski, both of his star players were really held in check by the opposing team. This week they have much better matchups. Calvin goes up against the Chicago defense that's really in shambles right now, where Gronk is going to be going up to the frozen tundra. But at least Bill was able to keep Gostkowski. That's really ultimately what it comes down to. He kept him on his roster during the bye week. He started him, he got 0 points, but he got him a solid 11 points last week. So really great managerial move there for Bill. He's got Gostkowski in his lineup this week. That's a good call, Bill. Very good call. He does also get Arian Foster back this week. He's missed the last two with an injury. Really kind of too little too late, unfortunately. It would have been better if Foster was able to go for Bill last week, but so it goes in fantasy football. If you want to look at Adam's team, he made a flurry of pickups this week on the waiver wire. I think he got 4 guys this week that are going to be starting for him in his roster, or bench players for him. And my question really is, where was this all season? It's week 13. You start picking up guys now. It just boggles my mind. But I guess you really don't want to get that pink shirt, so I'm going to give you some credit for that. If you want to look at Adam's team, though, he's getting some good stability from the running back position. Justin Forsett is actually closing in on 1,000 yards on the season, which is hard to believe, going into the season with all the Ray Rice stuff going on. But he's having a really strong season. Jamal Charles has been a great addition for Adam since he acquired him in a mid-season trade. But if you want to look at some boom or bust guys on Adam's team, we're looking at Eric Decker, Kenny Britt, Kyle Rudolph. Those guys are really going to need to contribute in order for Adam to have a shot at winning this one. I know Adam's determined to stay out of last place. All kidding aside, I think Bill's going to run away with this one this week, and he's going to get the victory there, further moving Adam down the standings. Next matchup we'll look at is myself versus Dave. Both Dave and I are out of the playoff structure at the moment here, and doesn't look like we're going to have a shot at making it. But we're still doing some damage. Drew was able to beat Ryan last week, and Dave was able to take down Bill and end his postseason chances. So even though we're out of it, we're still being that Miley Cyrus wrecking ball and causing some trouble. So to look at Drew's team, as we mentioned, he beat Ryan last week, in large part due to the fact that he made a trade with Ryan, was able to get some guys from him that ultimately did some damage. We're talking about A.J. Green and C.J. Anderson, the Initials bros. They were able to get 25 and 29 points collectively against Ryan, so it was a good early win for Drew in the trade capacity there. But it's still early in the process, and it's only been 1 week, so who knows. Colby Fleener is going to be in there for Drew this week. He had a really poor performance against Jacksonville last week, but if Dwayne Allen can't go, he should have a much better chance of getting some targets against Washington at home. Drew's running backs will square off today in the Thanksgiving game. It's Dallas versus Philly, which means it's DeMarco Murray versus LaShawn McCoy. As David Putty once said, it feels like an Arby's night. Well, it kind of feels like a Darren Sproles day, I guess, which could be a bad thing for LaShawn McCoy this week. As I mentioned, Drew squaring off against Dave, or should I say the New England Patriots, as Dave is trolling out there. Tom Brady, Brandon LaFell, Shane Vereen, LeGarrette Blount, and the defense. God damn, that's a lot of Patriot players. So if you want to look at the other guys on Dave's team, first guy you got to look at is Odell Beckham, who made that ridiculous catch last week. Julius Thomas did not practice yesterday, but the people in Denver seem to be optimistic that he will be good to go for Sunday's action, so we're going to need to monitor Julius' status as we get closer to Sunday. I think the Patriots game is going to be a high-scoring one. That's going to benefit Dave. But in the end, I think that the wide receivers on Drew's side are going to be a little bit too much for him to handle, and I think that Drew's going to be able to get that victory and move up in the standings. Next matchup, as we start getting into more of the playoff positions, is Ryan versus Steve. Really tough loss, as we mentioned, for Ryan last week, but he still has a shot at making the playoffs if he wins out and gets some help along the way. As we mentioned with Adam, Steve is in a dogfight for that last place position. He's hoping to avoid getting the pink shirt for the second consecutive year with 2 games to go. Ryan's going to need a big game out of Alshon Jeffrey. Cutler has been unstable of late. It's not an ideal matchup against Detroit on the road, but he's going to need to find a way to get in the end zone to give Ryan a good start to the week. Big game last week for Rashard Jennings. He put up 20 against Dallas. There's no reason to believe that he can't have another strong performance against Jacksonville this week, that lowly Jaguars defense. If you also want to look at Ryan's team, the position I'm looking at is that third wide receiver spot. Right now he's going with Martavius Bryant. It appears to be the best matchup. He's going up against the Saints. The other guys he could choose from would be Ruben Randall or Vincent Jackson. I really just don't like them as much. So I think Martavius Bryant, although he didn't have a great performance last time he played, which was 2 weeks ago, I think that could be a good start for Ryan this week. It was nice to see for Steve's team that Fred Jackson was able to work his way back into the lineup, and he was able to find the end zone against the Jets. This could be a good sign of things to come for the future. I know they have Boobie Dixon in there right now, but Fred Jackson, as he gets healthier, should get more touches. Steve's starting a collection of very mediocre wide receivers. Let's just go right down the list real quickly. Andre Johnson now doesn't have Ryan Mallett as his quarterback anymore, so he's stuck with Fitzpatrick. Crabtree has been overtaken by Anquan Bolden as the number 1 target in San Francisco. Kendall Wright's inconsistent, and James Jones seems to have a good game every other week. So other than that, everything looks really great for Steve this week. But even with all these struggles, all the issues on Steve's side of the ball, he still has a shot at causing some damage this week. He's projected only 3 points behind what Ryan's projected at right now. But I think Ryan's running backs are going to have bigger than expected games, and I think that's going to be enough for him to win and stay alive in the playoff hunt. Speaking of the playoff hunt, we have number 3, Dennis, versus number 1, Cam right now. As we mentioned, Cam will clinch a playoff spot with the victory, while a win for Dennis gives him an inside track at also clinching a playoff spot and moving on to the big dance. So in order for Dave to have the most Patriot players, as we talked about, he had to drop Isaiah Crowell. And that was a big pickup for Dennis last week as he received that gift and plugged and played him and got 2 touchdowns out of his performance last week. So I like the pickup there for Crowell. One man's trash is another man's treasure, and I think this one's going to benefit Dennis in the long run. Another guy for Dennis I'm looking at is Mike Wallace on Monday Night Football. He torched the Jets last time they played this year, so I like for his chances to have a big game on Monday Night Football. If you're going to look at a position of weakness for Dennis right now, I'm looking at that flex spot for him. Deshaun Jackson's in there right now. Colt McCoy is going to be starting. Could be the best option at quarterback, but I just think he's going to see a lot of Vontae Davis in the Indianapolis Colts secondary, and I think that's going to be a problem for him. So I don't expect a big game out of Deshaun Jackson this week, but been wrong in the past. Very well could be wrong this time around as well. Josh Gordon for Cam looked great last week, and it was his first game of the season. I think he had 8 for 120. Sky's the limit for him. If that's the benchmark there, I really only think he's going to get better as the season goes along. He's going to be a huge asset for the playoff run that Cam's about to go on. Another guy I'm looking at is Eddie Lacy. He's put up at least 20 points in the last 4 weeks. I think this is the week, actually, that run will discontinue. I think that the Patriots are hot right now, and I don't think he's going to be able to get to that 20-point threshold. But definitely going to be someone I'm watching for Cam's roster this week. But I am anticipating big games out of both Jeremy Maclin and Kelvin Benjamin. I think that's going to go a long way in Cam's chances of potentially winning this matchup. But ultimately, Demaryius Thomas, Dez Bryant, done and done. That's going to be enough for Dennis to get the victory and continue to climb up the standings towards that number 1 spot. Last matchup we're going to look at here is the matchup of the week. We're going to have Sean square off against Bud. Sean last week lost a heartbreaker to Cam. He didn't get enough contributions from both Percy Harvin and Jimmy Graham to go by Cam. So he's 7-5. Bud continues to impress. He's putting up high point totals once again, and he's projected at very high marks this week, so he's got a great chance to make the playoffs with a victory this week. If you want to look at Sean's team, I'm looking first at Mike Evans. He's had at least 9 targets each of the last 4 weeks, so that's the good news. The bad news is last week he only caught 3 of those 11 targets, and really his day was salvaged with a late touchdown. A much more difficult matchup for him on the road against Cincinnati, so everything I just said about Mike Wallace is also true for his starting quarterback, and that's Josh McCown, and that's who's going to be going for Sean as well. Point blank, though, Sean needs Joique Bell to contribute. That's really a guy that I need to see more out of. They're going against Chicago this week. If the game goes to a point where the Lions start to take advantage of Chicago, that could be a good sign for Joique Bell in terms of his volume and getting touches this week. Charles Johnson is starting for Sean this week. Never heard of him. He's not the 1997 Marlins World Championship catcher, although that's the same name. It's just somebody different. But Charles Johnson has overtaken Cordarrelle Patterson for the Minnesota Vikings this week as the number 1 wide receiver. He's had double-digit points the last 2 weeks, but it's a little bit of a gamble there for Sean as he tries to get something out of Charles Johnson in the flex. Who would have thought that he would be starting for someone who's in the fight of their life for the playoff position? Another guy that's just seemingly come out of nowhere is Boom Herron. I believe he played at Ohio State in college. But he is the starting running back at the moment for the Indianapolis Colts. He has overtaken Trent Richardson as the feature back there. So it's a nice little pickup for Bud, who is trying to replace Ahmad Bradshaw, who, of course, is lost for the season after breaking his fibula. Mark Ingram had a tough game last week going for the Saints, but they're going up against Pittsburgh this week. They have been susceptible to ball carriers on the ground, so Mark Ingram has a shot to bounce back. Even though Pierre Thomas is in the fold for the Saints at this point, I still think that Ingram is that every down running back, whereas Pierre Thomas is more of that pass-catching back. So when you think about Thanksgiving, I think about football and I think about the Dallas Cowboys, but another thing that's always seemingly happening on Thanksgiving is that Jason Witten catches a touchdown pass. So that's my prediction for this week, is that Jason Witten will find the end zone today for the Dallas Cowboys against the Philadelphia Eagles. So in terms of an outcome for this one, I think Sean's roster has a few risky calls. For me, it's Roddy White, Joique Bell, as we mentioned, Charles Johnson, and also Mohamed Sanu. Bud has that stability up and down his roster. I think Aaron Rodgers is in line for a big game. They should be throwing the ball quite a bit against the Patriots in a potentially high-scoring game. And all of that will contribute to Bud being able to take down Sean this week and continuing to cement his playoff status, where it's going to put Sean in a very challenging position to try to make that playoff run, especially if Ryan is able to get a victory this week. So that's what I'm watching for in Week 13 of the NFL action. I again hope everyone has a fantastic Thanksgiving wherever you are. Enjoy it, friends and family. Enjoy your days today, and best of luck in the action here. We'll let DJ Dennis ride this one out with a little ZZ Top.